Kerala, India, July 25th, 2001. In the skies above this forested region of rolling hills in the southwestern state of Kerala, storm clouds begin to gather. Not so unusual in this part of the country. But when the rain starts, no one is prepared for what falls from the sky. Something that appears to be blood. And it lasts not for hours or days or even weeks, but for months.
If I put myself in the shoes of these people that experience this blood rain coming from the sky, I can only imagine how terrifying that must be, and how that must make those people question their own existence, question the forces of nature that are at work in the world. That must be earth-shattering for these people.
You have to think that that's sent from the heavens for some reason. Some mystical reason this happened, because it's sent from the gods. It's sending out a signal or a message for some reason.
After months of wondering whether the apocalypse was at hand, residents sighed in relief as suddenly the scarlet deluge stopped. And just like every other time this strange phenomenon happened throughout history, the skies returned to normal.
Similar stories of red rain have essentially spanned history over thousands of years. It's been repeatedly reported, first in mythology, and then in historical accounts that goes back maybe to the 6th century BC.
We have stories in our theology and mythologies that see this phenomenon happening, so it must be one of the signs of the coming apocalypse. But it's a phenomenon that occurs in weather around the planet all the time.
You never know where red rain is going to occur. It's all depending on weather systems. All over the world, there's been rain like this, even in the United States. Even in the Ukraine and Russia, this has taken place.
It's not surprising that ancient people regarded blood falling from the sky as a sign of impending doom. But today, we tend not to believe in such far-fetched nonsense, especially because, as I'm sure you'll be relieved to know, blood rain isn't actually made of blood.
Scientists did analysis of this red rain and did not find things like copper or iron, things that we think of as red, that would cause this water to be red. So why was it red? What else could have been in the water that made a blood red rain?
What scientists thought is that it is caused by spores that are on trees, grassy areas, rocks, all over the terrain there in India. And those spores blast all of that into the atmosphere, and that's carried up into the clouds, and it kind of hangs there.
Oftentimes, spores are produced prolifically, billions and millions of spores, right, go all over the place. And so you can imagine that it would be transported up in the atmosphere associated with rain and then come down as a red color as well.
The theory that red algae spores can and do create red rain is believed by most scientists to be a sound one. But believe it or not, there's another theory. One which proposes that blood rain is caused by something extraterrestrial.
If you look at the red rain under the microscope, what we found was absolutely staggering, because we found that there were red living cells dispersed in the rain. That was the cause of the red color in the rain. And these cells were in the process of actually reproducing. And when examined under the highest magnification, these cells didn't look like anything that we had seen on the Earth.
Life, unlike any on Earth? Could it be that the real cause of blood rain is far more profound than previously thought?
Coincidentally, there was also a meteor explosion in the area. So the question is, could those two events be linked?
What I think happened was that a fragment of a comet exploded in the high stratosphere, And this comet had living entities, alien life, in the form of these red cells, and they became the seeds, the nuclei of raindrops.
We found plankton organisms on the solar panels of the International Space Station. So it's possible that this meteor that exploded over India had some sort of red organic material in it that came from space.
If the source of blood rain is, in fact, extraterrestrial, might it help explain how life could have started here on Earth?
One theory of how life can propagate from one planet to another, and even one star system to another, is panspermia.
Panspermia is the idea that life on the Earth started in outer space. And sure enough, when we look at meteorites on the Earth, we find some from Mars, some from the Moon, and maybe even some from Venus. And so if meteors can go back and forth, why not DNA?